What's up, broskies? AD here, and today I'm bringing you my build for Dragonite, the most recently released busted Pokemon in Pokemon Unite. This build is a lot of fun. It's going to make it so you do a lot of damage and you're able to solo carry games with some really cheesy scoring fairly easily. So if you like that and you want to see more builds like this and you like this format, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, and drop a comment down below. And give me your thoughts. So first off, before we hop into the practice tool, just to show you guys, as far as movesets are concerned, I'm going to be going Dragondance, and I'm going to be going Outrage. That is just the bread and butter for Dragonite right now, in my opinion. I think it's really busted. I will explain that once we get into the game. And then as far as held items are concerned, I would recommend going Muscle Band, Buddy Bearer, and Score Shield. If you don't like the Score Shield type playstyle and you just don't think that fits how you want to play Dragonite, then feel free to go Scope Lens or Energy Amplifier instead. I would recommend probably Scope Lens more than Energy Amplifier, but I just think that this held item set makes it so Dragonite is just a absolute nightmare to deal with from the point of view of the enemy team. And then as far as battle items are concerned, obviously everybody loves eject button, but also if you're going that more cheesy style, Goal Getter is really obnoxious with Dragonite, and I'm going to show you why. So let's hop into the gameplay real quick, and remember, follow on all socials, hit the like button, and hit the subscribe button. So like I said, the moveset we went is Outrage plus Dragondance. It's just a absolute fantastic moveset for Dragonite, and I think that the other options are just not as good, and I will explain that in one moment. But then as far as the position of Dragonite on the map, obviously you guys know I like to play the jungle the most. It's fantastic in the jungle, has solid clear speed, especially once you start to get some of your moves, but it's also just unbelievably strong in lane as well because the ranged attacks are crazy on this character. So for those of you that don't know anything about Dragonite, the basic attacks essentially work in a rotation. So when you are Dratini, you're only going to have access to the water enhanced attack. When you turn into Dragonair, you're going to have access to the shock one and the water one, and then once you turn into Dragonite, you're going to have access to fire, shock, and water. And each of these do different things. So the water basic attack makes it so you get a heal. The fire basic attack does increased percentage HP damage, and the shock basic attack stuns the target. And you can see the wind-up time, like the actual basic attack chain for Dragonite, is not long at all. It's literally 2 basic attacks and then an enhanced attack. So you cycle through those very quickly, especially with this build. And it's important to take note of that because some of these moves that Dragonite uses get amplified based off of or they amplify basic attacks based off of the last enhanced attack used. It's not too big of a deal, but it's something to keep in mind, especially when you are in fights, right? Because you don't want to go and be fighting someone and intend to shock them, but you accidentally pop Outrage instead and you get out of range of a particular Pokemon. So just something to keep in mind. Okay, so we go Dragondance first off. Dragondance is insane. Honestly, it's just ridiculous. I'm going to go and turn off the cooldown just so you guys can see. So basically what Dragondance does is it gives you a personal damage buff, gives you a personal attack speed buff, and a personal movement speed buff. It is just all around a fantastic ability. Just unbelievably good. It is a dash on a 5-second cooldown, essentially. It is just absurdly strong, and the buff stacks. Okay, it stacks up to 3 times, and the more often that you use it, the more, the more stacks that you get, the higher your damage output is going to be. It's just really solid. It does no damage on its own, so you don't actually have to worry about trying to land this on anybody. But just for your own personal reference, very similar to the basic attacks, the movement options of Dragondance also rotate. So first it does it in a straight line dash, and then if you use it again, it does a curve around the right, and then if you use it again, it does a curve around to the left, and then it resets back to the straight line dash. It's not too big of a deal, but it is something to keep in mind, especially if you're trying to traverse obstacles or anything like that. Sometimes the way that the hitbox works is a little bit shorter with certain ones, but you don't actually have to land this on anybody in order for it to work properly. And Dragondance is monumentally important because your basic attacks actually when you're using Dragondance, reset the cooldown of Dragondance. So you can just spam this dash all day long. And you can also spam Outrage all day long. And that's what makes Dragonite a monster in the lane, in the jungle, everywhere. So you can see here, we just, oh, actually, I guess I need to turn on cooldowns again, huh? We just hit with a couple basic attacks and boom, it's already off. And then you can go and dash again. And remember, you don't have to dash to actually hurt the person. So you can use dash just to reposition yourself outside of team fights or to chase people down. And again, that dash stacks up to 3 times, and your basic attacks are going to reduce the cooldown. Essentially, every like 2 or 3 basic attacks comes back off cooldown. That's a really nice dash to have, right? Especially considering it increases all of your damage. It gives you an attack speed boost and an attack damage boost. Just absolutely absurd. And then also, we have Outrage, and Outrage is just like the melee destroyer, okay? It's gonna go, it's gonna stomp, it's going to stun the target that's near you, and it's going to deal a hefty amount of damage to them, and it's going to basically replicate the last enhanced attack that you used. So you can see here, I go and I pop it, and I get the fire enhanced attack. And what Outrage does, and why this character is so ridiculous, is that it makes every single basic attack that you do an enhanced attack. So you're constantly cycling through the heal from water, the stun from shock, and the burn from, the percentage health damage from fire. So like you're literally the avatar once you pop Outrage, right? And you might be thinking, oh, it's got kind of a long cooldown. Except it doesn't, because the cooldown is reduced when you basic attack. So you can infinitely loop Outrage. Okay, something else to keep in mind is that when Outrage is done, if you let it actually end, you get stunned for a short period of time. It's really not a big deal. But again, if you go and combine Dragondance plus Outrage, what is it going to do? It's going to make it so your Outrage basic attacks attack even faster, they deal even more damage, and you're going to have movement speed to keep up with people. And both of these cooldowns on these abilities are going to be reset by the basic attacks that you're landing. It's just like this infinite loop. I don't understand why Pokemon Unite keeps doing this with characters, but like you can literally just pop this and keep using these abilities forever, and as long as you activate Outrage again before the original Outrage ends, it's going to make it so you never actually hit that that stun at the end of it. You can just keep Outrage up indefinitely. It's literally, you can infinitely loop it. It's so ridiculous, and you can see as I'm doing this, I'm cycling through the fire, the water, the shock. It's just like, how do you deal with this dude in close range? You can't. So, you know, what would you do to counter Dragonite? Well, you would try and keep him at range, especially if he's running Outrage, which most people are doing. But this is where the tiny amount of skill comes into play when you're playing Dragonite. If someone is a ranged character like a Sylveon, don't pop Outrage immediately. Go and just spam your Dragon Dances, and then you still deal a massive amount of damage, and you still go and cycle through these basic attacks in an incredibly fast manner, just spamming Dragon Dance and your basic attacks. And they have solid range, right? And so if someone is dealing with you from a range, you just pop Dragon Dance a bunch, you keep spamming them with basic attacks. Who else is going to be able to compete with you spamming stuns, percentage HP damage, and healing yourself? Nobody. It's really obnoxious to deal with. It's just unbelievably good. So that is Dragonite's skill set in a nutshell. As far as his actual like passive ability is concerned, when you're playing as Dratini or you're playing as Dragonair, you go and basically take you get like a defense buff. You take reduced damage when you're afflicted by a status condition. But as soon as you turn to Dragonite, that makes it so basically when Dragonite takes a hit, you're randomly going to get a defensive buff, essentially. So, not defensive buff. You're going to take reduced damage, and so it's nice, but it's not something that you have to actually plan for. As far as the Unite move is concerned, you can see the farther you push it out, the more Unite move gauge is going to actually take. It shows it on the screen, but no matter what distance you use it at, it's going to activate Buddy Barrier, and it's going to activate Buddy Barrier as soon as you actually activate it, not upon landing. So your team, if you're getting a low and your team's in a team fight, you can go and just Buddy Barrier them and escape at the same time. Or you can use this to engage so that when you land, you go and get a massive shield upon landing. It's really, really, really obnoxious. And only having to use a certain percentage of your Unite move makes it so you can spam Buddy Barrier faster than anybody else in the game. And it also means that because it's semi-global, you could go and you could be in a fight at Zapdos and then immediately fly straight into the enemy base to try and backdoor them. And that's where Score Shield and Buddy Barrier comes in. If the enemy team is trying to push up, it's going to be a lot harder for them to push up if you are running Goal Getter plus Buddy Barrier plus Score Shield, because if they push out of their base even slightly, you can literally just go land right on top of it with Buddy Barrier, Score Shield, and then score on them right in their faces. There's nothing that they can do about it, especially with Goal Getter. It just makes it so you can do these clutch plays where you could go and you could fly all the way into their base and there's literally nothing that they can do to stop you. Or you could go and you could score and then immediately turn around and try and go for a Zapdos steal. It's that good. It's just absolutely bonkers, and it also knocks people up when you land on them. So it's just like, this character's kit is so bloated. You know, it just seems to be a recurring theme with the recent Pokemon releases in Unite, but that is how I would suggest going and playing Dragonite. That is my Dragonite build. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this guide. If I missed anything or you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I'm trying out this different style of guide. I might put some gameplay from actual matches in the end here, but I'm not sure how much time I'll have. It just kind of depends. But you guys let me know if you like this format. If you don't like this format, it's a lot faster for me to upload it. But that's going to be for me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the support. Sorry I've been burnt out on Unite a little bit lately just because of the matchmaking and everything. But that's going to be it for me, guys. So make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell. Comment down below. Peace.